I covered Trump's Rose Garden speech 1,000 ways in the midst of a pandemic roaring through the country. Instead of trying to fix the record number of cases, the 130,000 deaths, the millions of cases that are, we're getting, 50,000 new cases every day at least. Instead of addressing that, instead of addressing the 20% real unemployment, instead of addressing the 32% of Americans who can't pay their bills, the foreclosure and eviction crisis, instead of addressing any of this, any of it, Trump announced new sanctions on China over Hong Kong. Okay, but my favorite, this is my favorite part of his speech. He proceeded to go after Biden in 1,000 ways that made no sense. He attacked him for swine flu when less than 4,000 Americans died from swine flu, 130,000 died from COVID. He bragged about the stock market being awesome, even though the top 10% of income earners have 92% of the stocks. Totally idiotic. He's delusional. His strategy now is incoherent for 2020. But take a look at this. This is the line of attack that Trump is deciding to use against Biden. At a time when we have all these problems, here's what he's saying about Joe. Watch.
Last week, Joe Biden released his unity platform developed with socialist Bernie Sanders, describing what he would do if elected president. The Biden-Sanders agenda is the most extreme platform of any major party nominee, by far, in American history. I think it's worse than actually Bernie's platform. It's gone so far right.
Okay, now don't get it twisted. What he meant to say was it's gone so far left. That's what he meant to say. He's arguing that the Unity Commission and their policy recommendations, he's arguing that those are more extreme or more far left than Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden is to the left of Bernie Sanders, Don? That's what you're saying? Joe Biden is to the left of Bernie Sanders. That's your argument, Donald Trump? Joe Biden is to the left of Bernie Sanders. Crime Bill Joe Biden is to the left of Bernie Sanders. The senator who most directly served the credit card industry. That guy is to the left of Bernie Sanders. The guy who helped make it so that you can't file for bankruptcy on your student loans. That guy's to the left of Bernie Sanders. The guy who was for the Iraq War. The guy who was for the Patriot Act. The guy who was for NAFTA. That guy is to the left of Bernie Sanders? Don, I wish, bitch. I wish. Do you have any idea? I'd give away a pinky finger, or I'd give away, one of my toes. I'd cut it right off. Ship it in the mail to whoever you want. If Joe Biden would be to the left of Bernie Sanders. It's beyond incoherent. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's saying. And by the way, he keeps contradicting himself too. So what happened the other day? Well, there's one issue where Joe Biden really outflanked Trump in a brilliant way. I was screaming at him to do something like this. Thankfully, he did it. I'm not saying I directly impacted that. Who knows? Maybe I did, but I don't think I did, unless one of his advisors watched the show or something, or somebody on the Unity Commission watched the show. But what Biden did is he said, "I'm even more pro Buy American than Trump." Trump only did a symbolic Buy American week where it's nothing. You just showcase products that are built in America and say, we're so wonderful, and you suck off America a little bit, and then everybody says, yay, and then you go home. There's an actual Buy American executive order which mandates that the federal government buys American. Trump didn't sign it. He said he was going to sign it. He never signed it. Biden saying, I will actually sign it. Any product bought by the United States government needs to be manufactured in America, period. So Biden saying he's going to sign that. So he outflanked Trump on an issue that helped Trump win in 2016. So what did Trump do? Trump goes out there and says, this is very unfair. Sleepy Joe is plagiarizing me. This is definitely plagiarism. This is very unfair. And this is a very far left plan, and it's a very extreme radical plan. I don't like it. Which is it? Which is it? Did he plagiarize you? So Donald Trump, came up with this good policy and Joe Biden stole it. Did that happen? Or is it a bad idea and an extreme radical plan that you don't like? He says both things at once. You want to know why? Because he's a fucking idiot, bro. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a giant walking id. Everything about Trump is just impulsive and instinctual and primitive. So what's happening now? He's so down in the polls that he's panicking and he's just throwing every argument at Biden nonstop, endlessly. So, on the one hand, oh my God, he's gone so far left. No. And then watch, he will also attack him in some ways where he tries to pivot to Biden's left. Which is it? Is he so far left, or do you want to get to the left of him? Which is it? Doesn't matter. Logical consistency is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. He doesn't notice that he's contradicting himself because none of this matters to him. See, this is what I'm trying to get across to you guys. None of this policy stuff matters to him. All that matters is Macho Man Donnie winning, so he could say, I won. So he can continue to get the self-aggrandizement and feed his ego and his narcissism. That's what this comes down to. But it's so clear that he believes in nothing. It's just so obvious at this point. And he even goes as far as downplaying the 130,000 deaths, downplaying COVID-19, pretending the economy's already back because of the market when you have 20% actual unemployment and a foreclosure and eviction crisis. He's so delusional and he's so up his own ass that he's in his own world of marketing and strategizing, and it's just totally contradictory and incoherent, which is why he's down so massively. He doesn't look like a leader. He's not a calming, stable influence on the country. He's not fixing the problems. He's ignoring and avoiding a lot of them and exacerbating many of them. So this is where we are now. But one of the attacks from Trump against Biden is that, oh my God, Joe Biden is now to the left of Bernie Sanders. Oh, who does this appeal to? This argument only appeals to like the 20% of the population that Trump already had voting for him anyway. Not only is Trump not expanding the tent, he's making his tent and his base smaller and smaller and smaller with ever more ridiculous arguments, which makes him sound like a frickin' One America News Network host. Which, by the way, might be where he ends up when he loses. Look, things can still change. You could still have a debate that flips the dynamic and Trump can surge. You could argue maybe Biden peaked too early or whatever, but as of right now, if the trends hold, Donnie will be lucky to get a job as a One America News Network host.